my name's James Nicholson. I hope you guys are well. In this video, I want to talk about what my predictions are for house prices for the rest of 2023. This is a new video that I'm going to do each and every month. I've done it for the last 2 months. And a lot of the video content that I share is not my opinion, it's from different data sources. So we get data and we look at the data that we get from Nationwide, Halifax, Rightmove, Zoopla, Land Registry. Basically, any decent data source, we will share what's going on. And in the last few months, I get comments all the time on the channel. One day you said the house prices are going up, then they're going down. Well, that's because the data is so different at the moment. There's no clear, concise way or reason to what's going on in the market. It's been quite volatile, especially with interest rate rises, with inflation. So what do I think is going to happen? Well, before we jump into that, as always, if you haven't done already, do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification. Now, we might be at 8,000 subscribers by the time you see this, but we might not. We might be just needing that one extra subscriber. Maybe you could be the 8,000th subscriber. So do subscribe and hit the bell. And we want to hit 200,000 views on our content this month. So how can you help me with that? Smash the like button. Go and do that right now. Tickle the like button, smash it. Do something to the like button over there. That really helps me with the YouTube algorithm. So what's been going on? Well, obviously, unless you live under a rock, we've had crazy inflation, and that came off the back of a pandemic. And we haven't really got back to normal since then. It's been years, nearly 4 years since this has all been going on now. And in that time, things have really changed. Now, while we were in lockdown, to me, maybe to you, I don't know, it made logical sense that house prices would crash because people weren't going to work, people weren't able to do viewings, people were struggling to get mortgages. It just didn't make sense that in that time, house prices absolutely boomed. Well, it kind of did make sense eventually. And what we found out was that people wanted to get bigger properties because they're now able to work from home and all those exciting things. So the prices went crazy for a long time. We had crazy low interest rates. We were at 0.1% at the moment. I've got a few deals fixed at 1.39%. I think it's one of my best ones, which is really good. It's basically free money. So that meant house prices went on an absolute tear. Now, because the government printed so much money, then we had an energy crisis. We've got this crazy inflation. It was above 10% for a long time. And the bank increased interest rates 14 consecutive times in a row. Now, this made sense that the market would slow down, which it finally has. But a lot of us got this wrong. Now, my initial prediction, which I started talking around March this year, was I felt in 2023, so just in that period there, in 2023, I felt that we would go down 8%. 8%. And that was clearly wrong, because what happened since January this year was we pretty much have had a flat market. July went down a little bit, but most of those months have been relatively flat. Now, we do on an annual basis today in October, we have a 5% drop in house prices on an annual basis on a rolling 12 months. And that's because last year, October, November, December, when we had the mini budget, when we had interest rates going up to 6.5% that you could get from lenders, at that point, it was really unsure what was going on. So house prices did drop at that point. And so since then, we haven't had much happen. Now, what's going to happen is this month's data, next month's data, and the month after that, those drops will disappear. And so if the market doesn't go down, we'll have a fairly flat market. So this is basically 2023 that I want to talk about. So what's changed, in my opinion? Well, the fact is the house prices are moving very slowly. A lot of people in the market are just waiting and seeing. So look, house prices only really crash or drop when someone must sell their property. And right now, there's a ton of people that have fixed a deal Lots of those are coming off of it, but there is more people that are on a fixed deal, and so there's no real incentive for them to sell their property, because if they put it on the market, maybe they got a 2% rate now, even if they want to upsize or downsize, then they're going to go on to a 6% rate, and even if you downsize, you might end up paying more on a monthly basis because you're on a 2% rate. Now you're going to go on a 6% rate. So people are just waiting and seeing. And we're seeing that in the data. We're seeing less properties are for sale and there are less buyers in the market as well. Now, some of that is because affordability has been hit hard. So if affordability is down, the spending that you would spend out of your average wage at the moment for a first-time buyer has gone from 29% of their take-home pay to 39%. That's a huge, huge jump, coupled with inflation and stuff like that. So I was saying 8%. Then a few months ago, I revised that and I felt the market was going to go down 5%. And last month, I said, I think it's going down slower than we would expect. And so I revised it and said 4%. That was what I predicted for 2023, and I'm going to stick with that. I think, so I'm going to put it on here so you can all come back at me in the comments. Now, look, I might be totally wrong. I don't have a crystal ball, but here's a few things that are happening. The market is moving in a downwards process, like it is moving down. Rightmove has announced in the last calendar month that asking prices are down finally. And so that means obviously there's going to be some sales that are way lower than they are today, but those sales might not complete till 2024. Remember, I'm only talking about 2023 because 24, 25, 26, they're too far out. So much is going to happen. Now, what else is going on? Well, interest rates have actually dropped. So the Bank of England kept the base rate at 5.25%. But the swap rate, where the banks get their money from, where they borrow from, and the rate that they borrow at, dropped. And so that's positive. And so that means that banks are passing that on because there's so few buyers at the moment. They're fighting for business. And so we've seen multiple banks now drop their deals below 5%. We saw an Indian bank that came into the UK market that did a buy-to-let mortgage at 3.9%. Now, a lot of people got confused about that in the comments and said, well, the fees were massive. The fees were massive. They were 5% on that deal, but that was spread over 5 years. And so it kind of did work out quite well. And who would take that kind of deal? Well, if you had a buy-to-let property and you needed to pass the income affordability check, you might have to take that deal and add that 5% onto the debt that you've got in order to just keep that buy-to-let property. So things are improving. Wages are up, which is good. Inflation is down marginally. We're expecting a blip in that. And interest rates have come down as well. So I don't know where property is going to end up by the end of 2024. Nobody does. And so people can have a wild guess at it, which I see lots of people doing. But I can tell you, in 2023, I think you're going to look at 4% down this year. But I do think that you're going to get some more drops in 2024. Let me know in the comments, what do you think the market is going to do in 2023? Just that calendar year. How far down do you think we'll go this calendar year? Do comment down below. Do smash that like button, guys. Subscribe and hit the bell. You could be the 8,000th subscriber. And we're going to hit, this week, 900,000 views on the channel as well, which is crazy. So there's a high chance we're going to hit 1 million views just in October, or by the end of October, not just in October, unfortunately. But do check out some other content on my channel. Help me get those views up. Why don't you go and watch this video right here?